All right, hey guys. So nobody's watching right now, so I guess I'm just gonna be down. I know I'm an hour late. Told everybody 5, but I was actually getting my knee worked on. So just got back. Ran a little later than what I thought was gonna run, but man, this gal, thanks, Lorianne, really made my knee feel better right now. So that was really good. But just gonna let some people get on here. So whoever's watching, if you want to fire off any questions or just sound off who's with me, that way I can say hi and know who I'm talking to. So if you got any questions or anything, just go ahead and ask them, and I'll answer them. All right, we got Angie on here. Thanks so much for watching and tuning in. Sorry that I'm an hour late. Had my knee getting worked on because, man, I really beat it up on the mountain. And this one lady saw one of my posts of me complaining about my knee, and she said that she had the thing to get back in shape. So she came up to my house and got my knee feeling better, so I could get back on there on the mountain. So thanks, thanks Kim and Lee D4. It's the least that people like us can do. So I know I posted on my Facebook page that I wanted to talk about some things, address some questions, address some comments, positive ones and negative ones. And I know a lot of people are like, don't give the negative ones the time of day, but it kind of is in line with what I want to talk about anyways. So it's going to address them too. But I don't let trolls get to me. So they know who they are and know what they say, and their ignorance can't outshine any wisdom or experience that I have to bestow. So what I wanted to talk about today is survival, and talk about the wilderness. We're going to talk about Sam and a little bit about that also. But what I want to talk about is, there's a lot of people. I mean, I'm a mountain boy. I grew up in the mountains, and I live up in the Cascades, deep in the Cascades, and we see city folk, as we call them. No offense meaning. Come up to recreate in the outdoors, and they go down to REI, and I want to go out and I want to go trekking around in the mountains, and what type of gear do I need? What do I want? What should I take? And they got these city slickers who have either been book taught or told what to try to sell people on what they should take and what kind of advice that they should give and whatnot. And the number one thing that my father and people I've learned from in the Boy Scouts and the survival school and other lead survivalists, Tom Brown Jr. and and the like, is that when you go out in the wilderness, you're putting yourself in a survival situation once you step out of your car and you step onto that path, onto that trailhead. Anything can happen out there. Once you're out there, I mean, it is a fight for survival. I mean, you are burning through, I don't know how many calories a day. We burn through probably 12 to 15,000 calories in a day trekking around in the wilderness with our heavy packs on and whatnot. So, it's a fight for survival once you step off of there. And you could go in there for the day, do a day hike, come back out, and everything's fine and dandy, and it'll probably happen 100 times. It just takes that one time. It just takes that one time where you go out alone, where you go out unprepared, and something happens, and you're unprepared, and it's going to turn out worse. So, anytime I go out in the woods, I always go out in the woods with the survival mentality. Is I'm going to find myself in a survival situation. And it might not just be myself that is struggling to survive. Could be somebody else. That's right, Kim. Never hike alone. Well, and with the bright clothes, and that's what I wanted to talk about also. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll jump right to that because that was one of my main talking points right now. Because a lot of people are trolling me about why do I not wear bright clothes in the wilderness? Why am I subdued? Why am I in camouflage? Why is all my gear camouflage? If you're searching for, sorry, I got a text message from Sam's fiance. When I'm out there, I don't want to be seen. People ask, well, if you're out there searching, don't you want people to see you, the person you're looking for to see you? Yes, you do. You do want to be seen in some circumstances. But for my personal practice, when I'm in the wilderness, whether I'm out recreating in it, gold prospecting out there, or, searching for somebody, because I'm not an official search and rescue member, and we'll talk about that here in a little while because I get a lot of questions about that too. But why do I not want to be seen? Well, there's one reason and one reason alone, and that is predators. Out here in the mountains, we have two types of predators. You have four-legged predators and you have two-legged predators. And once a predator spots you, you're in their crosshairs and you're a target. So that's the number one reason why I dress in camouflage, why I don't want to be seen, is I don't want to be seen by someone or something unless I want them to be seen. And what a lot of people don't realize or see is that underneath all my camouflage is I do have bright colored clothes. I'll wear red socks, I'll wear red boxers, I'll wear a red tank top or a red t-shirt underneath my camouflage clothes. I'll have a signaling panel, something bright, something that you can see for some distance. I'm going to, and if I need to signal somebody, then I can pull my shirt off and, my red shirt, and signal with it and whatnot. But I want to be able to, if a predator is after me, or if someone makes me uncomfortable and I need to jump off the trail and run 20 feet and hide, and not be seen, that's how I practice. That is my practice. And a lot of people don't understand that because they've been taught to wear bright colored clothes to be seen. And in some instances, it's a good thing. Like when I'm mountaineering in the wintertime and you're on the glacier on Mount Baker, and you want to have all my mountaineering gear is bright colors. I got my bright colored mountaineering jacket, my backpack, my helmet, all my gears usually bright colors because that's how they come. And I actually also have subdued mountaineering gear too. If I want to be in the mountains mountaineering and I don't want to be seen, I got all my snow camo and I got my ice axes that are snow. Yes, thanks, Kim, on that being a good point. Kim says it's a good point. So, there's a time and place for wearing bright colors, and it's, everything's mission specific when you go out there. What am I going out there for? Where am I going? What can I encounter? How should I dress? What type of gear? It's all of it comes together in it. You have to go out there thinking, I'm going to put myself in a survival situation. And, a lot of animals see in black and white, but camouflage does break up your outline when you have the forest or the trees or rocks or anything behind you. It helps break out your outline and makes it harder for predators to see. There's people out there, just in 2004, a mother and daughter, not 7 miles away from Sam went missing, were found shot in the head on the trail. Just 7 miles, not even 6 or 7 miles away from Vesper Peak. They found a mother and a daughter. She was a teacher, and they were shot in the head. Nobody's been convicted of it. No suspects. Just randomly, someone killed them on the trail. And that's the end of the story. And it's been 14 years now since that happened, and nobody has been brought to justice for it. There is absolutely no leads. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know about that. So you never know when you're going to be out in the wilderness and you run across the wrong person. So you need to be able to protect yourself in any way possible. And the greatest way to protect yourself from bad people or bad animals is to not be seen by them. Kim says she remembers that story. Yeah, horrible story, horrible incident. How can that happen? And it's a major popular trail. It's escaping me right now on the top of my head the name of the trail. We were just parked at it when we were waiting for the road to open on our last mission when they had it closed down there the other weekend. So, right there at that trail, 2 people lost their lives, completely random, no leads. So you never know who you're going to encounter back there. You encounter really good people and you'll encounter really scary people. But it just takes that once, that one person out of 100 people you encounter to be the bad seed, and then things can go bad. So that's why I like wearing camouflage. That's why I don't like being seen. And, now if I was part of, a search and rescue mission that was ran by, the sheriff's office or whatever, and we have to wear bright clothes because that's what policy dictates, then sure, I'm going to wear it. But if I'm on my own and I'm running my own thing, then if you've seen in some pictures or you've seen in our videos, we are mainly in camouflage or earth tones. And we do have bright colored gear or bright colored clothing or a signal panel or something that if we do need, if we do need to be seen, we will be seen, but it's on our own attention. So that's why I wanted to bring up and address for everyone that's got the question about that. So you never know. So, number one, when you go out there, if you're planning for a day hike, plan for 3 days. Okay, birdie song. Yep, that's true. So you need a plan for 3 days. Always go out there with the mindset that you're putting yourself in a survival situation where you're either going to have to self-rescue yourself, or you might stumble across someone that you don't know that you might have to rescue, or you might have to rescue somebody in your party. So if I go for 1 day, I'm taking 3 days worth of food with me. Pinnacle Lake Trail, that's right. Yep, thanks Sean for telling me that. Yeah, not very far from where Sam went missing at all. Horrible story. And then I don't know if you guys saw the other video where we had in 2010 Patti Krieger up here 3 miles from my house. I mean, I could look, I'm looking at the mountain that she disappeared on, and it was determined by the family that, yeah, she got separated from her group. The group left her. She went back to the trailhead and was abducted at the trailhead. That's what the family believes 100% happened, because there was no sign or trace or any other lead of her being on that mountain. So it can happen. It does happen. It probably happens more often than what we're told. And if you go online and look at the missing persons, the unsolved murders and stuff that happens in our national forests and our national parks, especially if you look at Yosemite, it's an epidemic. And, a lot of it is people going lost, perishing, and never being found again. But there's a high percentage of criminal activity and bad things happening from bad people. So always be prepared. And I know there's a lot of people from the city that don't believe in firearms, don't like to carry firearms, but always, you look at the mountaineers or any of the, the good hiking books or hiking guides, and they'll tell you, always take the 10 essentials. Me, it's take the 10 essentials plus 1. 10 plus 1. What's the plus 1? The plus 1 is a firearm. Preferably like a 38 special or a 357 revolver. Automatics are great because they're lightweight. A lot of people rock Glocks. I see people with Glocks on their hips all the time. But automatics could jam. They're more prone to malfunction. Therefore, I always recommend taking a revolver. They're heavy, yes, but they're solid steel. They do not at all malfunction, hardly ever. And at the very least, if you run out of ammo, you got like a 6-pound steel lead weight that you could throw in a shirt or in a sock and use it as a mace and beat somebody down if you have to. So always carry a gun, please. not just for self-defense, but for sound, for noise. You know, when I'm out in the woods, if I'm trying to reach people, I use a whistle. Whistles are great for making sound, but a gunshot, especially out there, will echo forever. And it's a very distinguishable sound. You know, like up there, you hear whistle pigs, marmots. They whistle, and you'll swear, "Hey, there's somebody whistling." No, it's a whistle pig. It's a marmot whistling. And they are so close and so dead on to what a regular whistle sounds like that you can't tell the difference, other than if the pattern of the whistle. If someone's blowing the whistle for a long time or doing like really quick short bursts with the whistle, then you could tell it's a whistle pig. But if you're just like whistling, you know, every 3 seconds, you can't tell if it's a marmot or if it's somebody with a whistle. You pop off a 357 Magnum or a 38 Special back there, everybody within miles of distance is going to hear that. So even if you don't want to carry a pistol for self-protection, carry one for sound, because you will be heard and you can dial in on it. Gonna waste your ammo, but hey, it's well worth having. So always I'll go out with the mindset that you're gonna be putting yourself in a survival situation. Dress and prep and load out your gear appropriately. If you're going for 1 day, take 3 days worth of food. If you're going for 3 days, take 6 days worth of food, because you never know when you might need it. And even though you can survive out here in the wilderness, you can't live, and you can only survive so long on berries and grasshoppers and miner's lettuce. So make sure you load out correctly. Another thing that I wanted to address that people have been asking me a lot about is why am I not officially search and rescue? Kim asks, is it hard to find where the shot came from though? Not really. When people shoot off guns all around here all the time, or when I'm out in the backcountry and I hear guns, it's really distinct of how it echoes and where it comes from. You can tell which valley it is coming out of. So no, they're really easy to pinpoint. Gunshots are really easy to pinpoint out there in the woods, and especially if you just train your ear for it. You know, train your ear for sound and how it moves. The terrain dictates us how we can move in the mountains, and it dictates how sound moves in the mountains also. So everything is terrain specific out here, especially in these mountains where we have real close in glacier cut valleys, river cut valleys, and going from 300 feet all the way up to 6, 7, 10,000 feet. Massive monoliths. So you really can pinpoint where shots are coming from out there, and especially if you have quite a few shots to be able to follow up with, someone will be able to get in the general vicinity. Now, that might not be able to pinpoint you down to say 100 meters, but they're going to definitely tell, oh yeah, hey, this person and a puku knife, shelter, food, fire protection. That's right. I prefer a kukri. I like big fixed blades. Take a big fixed blade knife. You want a big knife. I got a kukri. It's a Reinhardt Becker knife and tool, and it's massive. It weighs quite a bit. It's like a couple pounds, but man, that thing is like my #1 go-to big bush knife, because I can hack down trees with it. That's my #1 go-to if I'm attacked by an animal, because the margin of error when you're out stumbling across the woods and you stumble across and you spook a bear or a cat or a predator that can take your life and give you seriously harm, by the time you draw, especially a cat, usually you don't see a cougar until unless he's way away doing his own thing, or if he's close, if you see a cat close up on you, it's because he's getting ready to pounce on you. That's the only reason why you see him when they're up close, is he's getting ready to nail you. And the margin of error of you being able to pull out your gun and put shots on target and effectively is a really big margin, especially if you're not a really good shot and you train for that daily. Therefore, I carry a big knife. It's 18 inches long blade. If something jumps on me, I guarantee you when I slip 18 inches of steel up in his rib cage and start twisting it around with all my might, he's gonna come off of me. He don't want to tangle with me because my claw and my tooth is a lot bigger than his. So that's my number one go-to. I usually have it on my calf and my gator, so it's quick and accessible if need be. So yeah, carry a big knife, fixed blade, because yeah, it's well worth the worth what they do. So back to why am I not an official search and rescue member? I got a packet in there. It's probably been sitting on my shelf for, I don't know, 7 years now, and it's the Skagit County Search and Rescue application. I went and I got my FEMA ISIs to be join search and rescue. You know, I have my annual first aid card, a CPR card, my BBP card, and you know, wilderness first aid card, and all that stuff, and I'm geared out. The reason why I'm not officially with an organized search and rescue group is because my thoughts and my practices and views on how they should be run are completely different. And like I was saying yesterday in my video is, you know, I believe that when someone's missing, it's all grounds. If people are volunteering to go out and look, put them out there and look. I mean, look at it now. When search and rescue was looking for the, you know, there were tons of people that volunteered. First thing I did was send an email to them. Hey, can me and my crew come out and help you guys? They never responded back because they knew, thanks Monica, they knew that we weren't official search and rescue members because I told them that in my email. So, you know, that's a huge resource that is just thrown away. Like when Patti Krieger went missing, we were going to the Rockport store and they said, hey, there's a missing gal up there. You guys, since you're going for a hike, you guys should go up there and help. And we went up there and they turned us away. So, you know, I would never turn away people that are wanting to go up there and search. Because look now, we have, I don't know how many hundreds of uncertified search and rescue members out there searching. So what's the difference if they're out there now or if they're out there when you're out there as a government agency? I think it's better that you have the non-certified, non-official search and rescue member out there when you have a whole mountain full of official search and rescue members than now, because at least then you could coordinate them, you can figure out their skill level and put them in places where they can be and operate safely, versus now there's nobody out there other than people on Facebook, people like me, people like JJ Smith, people like Kevin, the family, who are trying to coordinate a search effort, and they have very little experience in that I'm aware of. I could be wrong. In coordinating a search effort. But why not take them from the very get-go? That's one reason why I'm not rescue, is because if I was in charge, I would take as many people as they could and I'd put them on the mountain appropriately. Another reason why I'm not search and rescue is because, you know, I believe that once somebody's missing in the wilderness, you have your main base of operations like they did it for Sam. They had one at Big Four Ice Caves and one at Spada Lake. But they should have had an FOB, a forward operating base, right there on the mountain down from the summit where everybody camps, or right where her last ping is where we camped the first time. The first time we went up there to search, where her third ping was right south of the summit, is where we camped, and we stayed there for 4 days. So that's what I would do. And I would rotate my guys out. I rotate my men out. Hey, we're going to have you guys stay up here for 5 days straight. Because, look at it. If Sam is stuck in a precarious situation and all she has is a flashlight on her, she knows that the only way that that flashlight would be able to be a signal device is if it's at dark. Well, how is she supposed to signal you from stuck in some cliff, stuck in some tree, if there's nobody up there at night to be able to witness that light, there should be somebody standing watch on that mountain 24/7 until she's found or until you decide to give up. So how, you know, the tiniest light can be seen a major distance at night, but during the daytime, you're not going to see it at all. So if she just had a little pocket flashlight and she was stuck up on some cliff and it's dark, she could turn that on and point it to you. She might not be able to talk, she might not be able to whistle, but if she had that light and she was shining it at night, you know, where does that leave her when there's nobody there on the mountain at night to be able to witness it? You know, she could have done that and there was nobody there to see it. We don't know. So therefore, yeah, hey, if you're searching for somebody, that person is out there laying on the ground. You should lay on the same ground. She's being eaten by bugs. You should be eating the same bugs. You know, if she's suffering out there, you should be suffering right along with her. And that's my philosophy. So that's another reason. I mean, I could go on and on and on about all the reasons why I'm not officially search and rescue, is because I think that the way I operate, I'm more effective that way. Way more effective that way, because I can go out there. And then another thing is, you can't, as a search and rescue member, you can't go into, have you had time to look over drone footage from 446 to 450? No, I have not. I've been looking actually through the footage that we ran on the helicopter the other day, because we had, and it's not uploaded yet, but we had a GoPro camera on the nose of the helicopter pointing straight down, so when we flew over everything, we'd have a complete zenith bird's eye view of everything straight down. Whereas drone footage, you know, they have to use the camera not only to be able to look, but also to be able to navigate. So you're always at an angle, you know, looking down or looking up. There's always an angle there where sometimes the way to see is straight in or straight down. So I've been reviewing, there's tons of other people out there that's reviewing all the drone footage, and they keep sending me little clips. You might be one of them. Sending me little clips of the drone footage, and like one gal thought that a stick was a ski pole, and it's not. So I have been reviewing it in the sense of people sending me clips of the drone footage and getting my take on it, but as far as like reviewing all of it, I haven't. I've been focusing on reviewing the footage we took, and then I've spent to the last 4 hours getting my knee worked on, so to get that back up and running. So I have not been able to do it, but I've noticed that I had some messages on that, and I'll get right on top of that this evening. But keep on keeping on. Well, thanks, Birdie. We're you know, we're trying. And you know, back to, you know, the search and rescue thing. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I'm not. And that brings me to the next aspect of where we're at now with the family and friends and volunteers trying to coordinate the efforts of finding her. Now, everyone's kind of in this desperate sense of, you know, it's been 25 days, she still hasn't been found. Is she alive? Is she perished? But whatever state she's in, she needs to be found. I still am holding on to the faith and the hope that she's still alive. So that's where I stand on it. But the thing that, you know, right now that's kind of getting under my skin, I keep getting tons and tons and tons of messages from psychic seers, gut instincts, and all this stuff. And some of you guys are, you know, are getting a little hostile because I'm not following up on your tips. Look, you know, I don't know how many I get, and I know how many Lisa gets because she sends them to me. And we followed up on some of those, and they weren't fruitful. They weren't successful. Nothing came out of them. So, right now, a lot of, this desperateness of finding her is wasting some resources of sending people to areas that only make sense based off of some psychic's belief, some psychic tip. And if Samantha is alive, that's a huge waste of her time. I mean, I can't be running around, and I can't be having other guys running around wasting time on these. We need to be a surgical instrument. We need to be able to come up with, okay, this is the best probability of where she is, and we need to go in there like a fine instrument and get her out of there. I can't be going to Red Mountain because some psychic said, oh, well, she's near Red Earth. There's Red Earth everywhere. There's red rocks everywhere. There's red branches and red trees. I mean, I can find red anywhere on that mountain and anywhere in any of these areas in this mountain. Just because you said you had a dream that she's around red rocks doesn't mean she's on the Red Mountain. I mean, it's like, what, 8 miles away? I mean, in order for her to get to the Red Mountain, she would first have to cross the Salton. And if she's as smart as what Kevin and the mom and everybody says she is, she's going to hit the Salton River and she's going to go downstream, because that's what terrain dictates and that's what survival basics dictates and just common sense dictates. Go downstream until you hit civilization. She's going to go hit the Salton and she's going to go downstream. She's not going to go up to the Red Mountain. That's the same way with these people talking about the Garnet Mine. Oh, she went to the Garnet Mine. The psychic must be talking about the Garnet Mine. And I'm not trying to bash anybody or anything, but people who are out there volunteering their time and people who are out there coordinating these people with their time really needs to understand that the time is the most precious thing that Samantha and all of us have. And we cannot waste it whatsoever. At all. It cannot be wasted. So when we tell somebody to go here, we, one, better know exactly where we're sending those people, and two, it better be worth it. The reward risk better be there. Like this Garnet thing. Oh, the psychic said red. Are they talking about the Garnet? Are they talking about the Garnet Mine? I already searched the Garnet Mine, for one. And then for two, somebody that was posting coordinates up on Facebook of where this Garnet Mine is it's off the northwest face of Vesper Peak. I mean, thanks, Lou. I mean, it's you're not going to go there because you need, like 100 meters of rope to get down to that ridge to be able to get to the Garnet Mine. I mean, it's like saying, oh, hey, I got a broken leg. I'm going to choose the hardest path to get home. No, you're going to choose the easiest path to get home. You're not going to choose the hardest path to get home. So, and so that's been tough. And right now it kind of seems like it's split up, like, the family and the people that they chose to coordinate, they're coordinating their thing, and me and my crew and my people are we're just rogue, and we're doing our own thing, and we'll probably be the most effective that way, because we can't be running around in the woods based off of hunches from people that we don't know, and the ones that we did follow up on, they were all wrong. It's like, okay, now if like 10 psychics said, hey, she's at the Garnet Mine, she's at the Garnet Mine, she's at the Garnet Mine, and that's exactly what they said. They didn't say, oh, she's in a red rock or around red rocks. They actually said, no, she's at the Garnet Mine. If 10 psychics said she's at the Garnet Mine, well, hey, I'm gonna go to the Garnet Mine. But when I have like 40 or 50 of you daily saying, oh, well, she's at the Garnet Mine, oh, she's at this lake, oh, she's at this mine, oh, she's here, she's there, what am I supposed to do with that? I have to disregard all of you, because I can't waste Samantha's time, and I can't waste my time, and I can't put people in dangerous situations for nothing. Just some of these things, and I don't want to bash you people. I know you really do believe in your heart that, you want to help her, and you really do believe in your heart that what you feel or what you see or what you're doing is the truth. But that's your feeling. That's right, Birdie. The mountain, and that's why people that are searching in the initial, crucial moments of the search should be up on that mountain. Psychics don't solve a whole lot of murder mysteries either. No. And I do know a lady who's I've known for a while who has actually led through her psychic abilities to people missing. She's came up with GPS coordinates that they found that person within 250 feet of the GPS coordinate that she has given. I think she has like 100 wins under her belt, but who knows how many more losses. And she was one of the ones that we followed up on. She's like, hey, look, because she has, and I have faith in her ability because she has proven it. She was just in Japan doing a missing persons case over there. I mean, she's internationally renowned. She has done work for law enforcement, for the FBI. She's really good as she does, and it's uncanny. And she sent me a coordinate saying she's here, and if she's not there, work your way south. So we went out one day and we spent 12 hours. I think that was our third search, or second or third search. We went to the exact same coordinates she gave us, searched all around, not a sign. We worked our way south, just like she said, nothing. So you don't know when you're right. She, in her whole heart, believed that that's exactly where the gal was. And she was so disappointed and heartbroken when she wasn't there that she held it against herself. So yeah, Lou, yeah, I have to, I will consider, supernatural leads if they're in line with reality, like if they say, oh yeah, she went down, the Vesper Creek drainage to Spada Lake. Well, thank you, Kenna. I hope I'm doing an excellent job with what we have, but like I said, we're just a small crew of guys. We're like 4 or 5 strong, 6 sometimes total. And we're trying to do our best, and we're trying to make the right decisions in this situation. Because we can't be beating ourselves up running around on wild goose chases. It's better that we would be sitting here resting, figuring it out, our next plan, coming up with a really good, sharp, strategic plan to implement. Somebody asked a question and I missed it. So in terms of survival when getting lost in the wilderness, is it wise to keep moving or to stay put? Excellent question, Christine. Situation dictates it. Number one adage that all survival teachers, school of thought will tell you is to stay put. And that's exactly what I would tell anyone. When you decide that you are lost, stay put. Now, if you stay put and it does not seem like people are going to find you, and situation and especially survival dictates for you to move, start moving. But the number one thing is once you decide to start moving, leave sign of where you were when you decided you were lost and where you're going. That's the number one thing you should do. My father always told me, you're never lost as long as you're on this earth. My dad told me, he's like, you'll be lost in space, you'll be lost at sea, but as long as your feet are on the ground, you are never really ever lost because you know where you are. Like right now, you know that you're in the North Cascades, in Washington State, in the backcountry. You just don't know which direction there is. So that's my philosophy on being lost is I never am lost. I might be disoriented on where my exact position is, but I'm never lost. Another good tool to learn if you're out traveling in the backcountry is dead reckoning. It's an old sailor's method of guesstimating your position. And it's guesstimated based off of your last known position. So you have your last known position, and then you guesstimate where you are by how far you've traveled, the time you've traveled, and any type of deviation that might have occurred in that time and distance. And then you could come up with a pretty good guess at where you're at now. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it is a skill that you can use on land or at sea. You could use it in the air. Pilots have to learn dead reckoning also. So that's an excellent thing to look into if you are wanting to learn more about survival, navigation, learn dead reckoning. Because you might not always have the sun, you might not always have the stars, you might not always have a compass, but if you can master the art of dead reckoning, then you can come up with a really good guesstimation of where your position is based off of your last known position. That's the key in dead reckoning, and being accurate with it is having an accurate last known position. So look into that, check that out. So where do we go from here? Right now, a lot of people are trying to get me out of the mountain. Like I said, I just had my knee worked on, so I gotta let that heal for a little bit before we get back out there. We're trying to coordinate people who are out there now in the best way, but there is a little bit of beacons. Yes, I run a spot beacon myself. I have two different types of beacons with me when I'm out in the wilderness. I have my spot beacon, which is a satellite driven beacon where if something's bad, I can send an SOS to my friends and family to come and help me, or I can send an SOS to search and rescue. And the nice thing about Spot is that for an extra, I think it's like $17 a month, you can get $250,000 worth of insurance protection for you and anybody that's in your party. So those are great to have with you. Another thing I have that I carry with me is what they call an IR strobe. It's a military device. It's really small. It's only, probably like 1.5 inches long by a 1/2 inch wide by a 1/2 inch thick. And you just stick it right on top of a 9-volt battery. So therefore, and then anybody that comes over using NVG night vision goggles, thermal imaging, infrared, anything like that in a helicopter or binoculars or scope, they will be able to see that strobe day or night. They're like $10-15 on eBay. Great investment to have if you need to be seen by the air, by a helicopter, especially a government agency helicopter that runs, infrared and night vision and stuff like that. So they're really small, really light, and multiple purposes. You have your IR strobe, 9-volt battery. If you need a 9-volt battery to be able to start a fire, you have a 9-volt battery to start a fire. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about too, is, I see a lot of people taking so many items out there. Unnecessary items, unnecessary weight. Always make sure out there has multiple uses. I always carry with me an ice axe. And some people look at me like, whoa, what's this joker doing? An ice axe is for the ice field. Well, it's actually not. It's a mountaineering tool, period, whether it's ice, snow, or rock. Great thing about an ice axe, it has so many uses. Digging holes to go to the bathroom in, digging trenches for rain to water to flow. It makes a good toilet paper holder. It makes a great weapon in your hand if somebody comes and attack you. An ice axe is a formidable weapon on any end that you hold that thing from. So, always make sure that the gear that you take out there has more than just one use. That way you can keep your gear down, you can keep your weight down, and you don't need a Swiss Army backpack in order to be able to get the job done. You only need a half dozen to a dozen tools that do 100 different things at once. So that's another thing that's really important. And there goes my phone again. I think I need to get a new battery for my phone. It keeps wanting to die on me. So we're not giving up on Sam. We're not giving up the fight. We definitely got to rest and heal, and we really have to be strategic in our next action, our next move. We really need to be able to go in there like a surgeon, attack, get her out of there, find her, and bring her home to her family. So that's where we're at. A lot of people are kind of giving me grief that I'm still sitting down here, but you know, we have to take her. I'll do her no good if me and my people go up there and destroy ourselves and injure ourselves, because then we're going to be out for even longer. So that's the main focus right now, is getting rested. I've lost like 23 pounds in 2 weeks. You know, when I started this, I was 180 pounds, and the last time I went out before I left, I was 156. I can't believe it. My buddy, good buddy of mine, he texted me. He's like, dude, bro, you need to eat. You're looking skinny. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I know. But, man, I'm burning 15,000 calories on the mountain, and I'm probably only consuming 8 when I'm out there. So make sure you need to lose. Well, how about you give me 20 pounds, Lou? So make sure that, yeah, you know, that's another thing. You need, when I plan my food, I plan my food of how many thanks, Birdie. For that, sending healing energy to me. You know, you gotta be mathematical. You gotta be very strategic. You gotta be militant in your planning of going out in the wilderness. You know, you want to be able to always have more calorie intake than what you use. Otherwise, you'll end up like me and you'll lose 15, 20 pounds in 2 weeks when you can't afford it. So that's, you know, that's another big thing, is adequate food, adequate nutrition while you're out there, because you will burn it immensely. And knowing the terrain, you know, I always do serious recon on where I'm going before I go out there. I look at all the terrain. I look at my Green Trails maps, my GS maps. I look at Google Earth. You know, the whole 9 yards. Figure out your terrain, figure out where you're going, make a good plan, what time you're going to come back. I mean, all the basic things that is basic in wilderness travel, of being in the wilderness. You know, you can't take it for granted. These mountains, the wilderness is treacherous. What's the best food to take with you? That's a good question. Well, me, you know, I'm always, because especially if I'm on a search mission, it's, you know, I got tons of gear, and I'll do a video on like on a search mission, what kind of gear I'm taking. You know, I got my sleeping kit, I got my clothing kit, you know, hygiene kit, you know, so it just starts adding up. And then when you start talking about mountaineering gear, ropes and harnesses and carabiners and ascenders and pitons and, you know, nuts and bolts and you name it, man, it really stacks up quick. So you got to really pinch on all of the weight. Thanks, Birdie. You know, humanity is, you know, is one of the key things of being a human, and you know, you can't develop it if you don't practice it. Power bars, yeah, power bars are great. Those shot blocks are really good energy boosters too, that Cliff Bar makes. But usually I do the dehydrated food for the protein and calories you get out of it versus the weight. They're really, really good. And if I'm going to do an endorsement on any type of dehydrated food, it's Mountain House. I love Mountain House. You could get some stuff with some really good protein, and the weight factor is really down low. You can carry a lot of good food for main meals with that stuff, fraction of the weight, and you have the calories you need and the protein that you need. So definitely carry some Mountain House with you. And then, you know, of course, you have your other stuff, snacks, and another good thing is peanut butter M&Ms. Man, they pack some protein and some energy, even though a lot of people say sugar's false energy and it only lasts so long. But man, sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes, oh man, I'm gonna quit, I'm almost to the top, and all you need to do is pop a handful of peanut butter M&Ms, and it gives you the juice that you need to get up to where you're going, so you can make a good meal and eat some good food. So, anybody got any other questions before I get off here? Because my phone's about to die, and I think I probably got like maybe a couple more minutes on here. And I think I've talked about anything I've needed to talk about and address. What I needed to address in this video. So I'll give you guys a few seconds if anybody's got any questions on anything. Kim says, you yum. Works for E.T. Sean says, praying for you. Thanks, guys. Ultimately, pray for the family. Pray for Sam. Let's pray that she is still holding on out there, and that she needs, and that we can get to her in time. Your hard work, stay safe. Well, no thanks is needed. It's just what we do, And like I was talking to the gal who came up to work on my knee earlier, she asked me, she's like, "Well, why are you doing this?" And it's because if I was in that position, if my child was lost out there on that mountain, I would want someone like me, someone like my friends, to be out there in my stead if I couldn't be there. So that's why I do it, is because I have the ability to do it. I have the experience and skill to be out there, and therefore there's no reason for me to sit back on the sidelines and watch this unfold and be a hypocrite in a sense. Because if my child was out there, I'd want everybody and anybody to be out there helping me search for her. So that's why I do it. So therefore, I know you guys thank me and everything, and I really thank you for all your kind words and all your blessings and all your well wishes. Thanks. Yeah, it's true. Human nature is to help, and if you're not out there helping or your fellow man, how are you going to develop your humanity? That's the only way you can develop humanity is being in service to others, to our fellow man. And that's how you develop your humanity the most, is to give it. And that's, to me, I was always believed that the giver should be thankful, because I'm having the opportunity to practice my humanity. I'm having the opportunity to practice my charity. Therefore, I should be thankful to be able to have the opportunity to develop myself in a virtuous way. Therefore, the giver should be thankful and lead by example. Yes, that's right, Melissa. Always lead by example, and I try to lead by the best example. But we're human beings, and sometimes we have our flaws, and sometimes we don't set the best example. Like some people are saying, I'm not setting a good example by wearing camouflage and telling people to wear camouflage in the wilderness, But hey, I think it's a great example, because it might just save your life to not be seen. So my battery is screaming at me. It's gonna die. Haha. Thanks, Christine. So. Yep, we can't please everyone, and the only ones I really care about pleasing are my loved ones. Thanks, Lou. I know I get it a lot of time. Awesome, and I hope that my awesomeness makes all you guys awesome, and I hope that my knowledge and wisdom and skill brings. I promise to get some rest. I do. Bring Sam home and encourages all of you to be strong also, and to develop yourself also. We're all here on this rock, and we're all working together. And I hope that all of our work, all of your support, all of our efforts will come together and bring her home for her mom, because I watch her mom's live videos every day. We chat, we text every day, me and her, and when she's feeling like it, and we really need to bring her home. That's a mom that really needs her child. I'm a father, and it just rips my soul out, thinking that there is a child out there missing, and that her parents and her family and her loved ones are going through what they're going through. I just can't imagine it. It's unfathomable. Therefore, we got to get her back home to her family, to her loved ones. They need her, and I'm not going to stop fighting until she's found, until she's home. So thanks a lot, guys. We can't do it without your support. All of my crew knows how supportive you are. I tell them, I relay everything. Fear of not knowing, that's the worst. Not knowing is the worst. It really is. So we're going to do our best. We're going to give it our all to find her and get her down. But like I said, we have to be very meticulous. We have to be very strategic in order to make it happen. Just running around blind in the wilderness, can bring her home, because the more ground we cover, the more ground we can cross off as there. But right now, in these moments, at this time, 25 days, we can't be running around randomly. We have to be very strategic. Everybody needs to be very strategic on where she could be, where she was going, and that's where we need to look. But this running around on the whim is not good for anyone, and it's definitely not good for Sam. So I'm not going to waste her time, I'm not going to waste my time, and I'm not going to waste any of your guys' time. I'm going to be like a smooth surgical instrument, and we're going to get in there and we're going to get her out. So thanks for watching. God bless you all. Love all the comments. If I don't comment, oh, Kim from Arlington, awesome. Thanks, Kim. We'll sleep good. I do read them. I do see them when I can, and I try to comment and like and reply as back as I can. Super ninja. You wanna know how many times I've been called that. But I am a bushi, by the way. For anybody that might know what that word means, I do practice Bushido Shoshinsu, and what I do is solely based off of that. Sounds like Kimberly might know what that is. But again, everybody have a good night. Be safe. You go out in the wilderness, please be safe, and make sure that that you plan accordingly. Tell your friends, tell your family, have a contingency plan, so you know if something does go wrong, what you can do, where you might be able to go. Make sure that is all known. I always, before I leave, I always have a map of the area on the wall with all my, my ETA, in and out, ETA, contingency plans, where I'm going to be, what time you could probably expect me at this point. Have it stapled, have it pinned to the wall, emergency contact information, the whole 9 yards. That way that if you get lost or you get disoriented, or, out there, and you get hurt out there in the wilderness, that then someone will be able to find you, and somebody will be able to help you. Because the amount of people who go missing and who lose their lives in the wilderness is astonishing, and a lot of it can just be, a lot of it can be, the word is escaping me. Wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen if you plan accordingly and do it right. You'll be avoided. Thank you, Christine. Sorry, it's been a long day. I've had hardly any sleep, and I just had my knee worked on, so I'm kind of like woo in my brain. Old computer geek, so I'm like there'll be lots of the forest. Peace be with you. All right, get some rest. All right, guys, my battery's about to die. Thanks for watching. I'll keep you guys updated throughout the weekend on here or Instagram. I got a lot more video to upload to YouTube, so if you're looking for that, and have a good night, and talk to you guys soon. God bless.